lead a healthier life. This is CURES.
Welcome to the CURES Show, where we explore the cutting edge of wellness for our mind, body, and spirit. I'm Kara Sundlin. So what is the true definition of success, and how do we actually make it happen and feel fulfilled? I'm joined by master life coach and author Elizabeth Hamilton-Guarino, and she shares her unique blueprint for success. Hint, it has nothing to do with our bank account. And in her new book, The Success Guidebook, How to Visualize, Actualize, and Amplify You, she helps readers really redefine success so that we can move forward with clarity, renewed purpose, and personalized confidence, and finally get the results that we desire. Welcome, Elizabeth. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's delightful to be with you.
You know, I want to just introduce you to our audience because you're a mom of four boys. You used to work in financial services, and then you moved into the world of, like, how do we really define success?
Yeah, it's been a journey for sure. When our little one went to first grade, I went back into the financial services world. That didn't work out for me, closed the door, and wrote a business plan for Best Ever You, and decided that I wanted to do radio, TV if I could, and write books. And I quit my job right on the spot, went home, and started this, all this.
How many years ago was that?
It was crazy.
Yeah,
many? Everybody.
That was some years ago, right?
It was 2008, and we're still chugging along, doing our thing, and it's wonderful to see the things I dreamed of happening and coming true.
Yeah, I think so many women want to do something more authentic, but we get stuck in the day-to-day of, oh my gosh, I have all these things to do. So how do we take that step toward authentic success?
Well, I think the very first step is to just kind of take a look, to evaluate, really, to assess your life, to take a look at what's going on in your life, and then really get in there and align your heart, truths, and energy. Those three things really matter to me. Go right here. Give yourself a giant hug. It's all going to be okay. And go right here and think about what you're doing. Because one of the things that I've learned over the years is that we are not entitled to time. And that, if you think about that, that will guide you to make your moments really matter. So sometimes we have to kind of unlearn, undo, unprogram. Sometimes there's a lot of undoing to get to where we want to truly, authentically be, so that we can follow our passions. But yeah, I do agree with you. We can be prone to being stuck.
Right, and not thinking that you know, it might not be horrible. You're like, I've got my kids, and I've got my husband, and I've got my job, and everything's just okay. But you really want more than that. You don't want people just surviving. You want them thriving. Is part of it that we just define success the wrong way?
I think so. I think it's high time that we really get in there and redefine success for ourselves personally and professionally, and not by dollars in our bank account or analytics and data and all the things that are traditional measurements. I think times have changed. I think more than ever, you're seeing people really align to what they truly want to do. And my book helps us get there. So if you're thinking about something that you truly want to do, this is a book that you can pick up and work that scenario through the whole book, and it will help you realize your potential, your dreams, your infinite possibilities, and all those things that you are sitting there thinking about, but maybe not doing, or maybe doing a little bit of, and it will really help you harness your power.
Yeah, the Success Guidebook, that's kind of what we need, right? Someone to hold us accountable. Is that what this does?
I think not only it holds you accountable, but it gives you a giant hug. It's a book that'll hug you along the way, because, you know, I think we all know that success isn't just, you know, an upward trajectory. It's bumpy, and we make mistakes, and we have setbacks and things like that you know, challenge us to keep going forward. And so I think the book is designed to really handhold you through that process. There's 20 contributors in the book as well, so it's not just me in there. It's 20 other people in there who share their stories of success and what they've gone through, and it's a lot of persevering, for sure.
Sure. In fact, I resonate with this because I was just giving a commencement address last night, and anyone who's given one of those realizes when you're writing to inspire a generation of college students, what do you say? And what came to me was, that what I also think is really important is that we get so stuck up here, but really success and what we need to do and our purpose is really much more here. And that's not just woohoo, like living from your heart. Our heart actually is our second brain, right? I mean, we can talk a little bit more about this being the power center.
Yeah, I love moving people from here to here all day long. I think everything is right here, actually. I think maybe it is the brain of us because it truly guides you if you listen to it. And I think we're afraid to trust it because sometimes we've been, bumped around a little bit. I always say everybody should get, in addition to thinking with their heart, a really good set of earplugs and bubble wrap because it's noisy. People have naysayers. There's all sorts of things that come at you, and with earplugs and bubble wrap, you're good to go to listen to your authentic selves. So, yeah, but heart-based thinking is I keep doing that because it's so important. If you
Yeah.
just do this a couple times a day, it's a great exercise to just maybe close your eyes and put your hands over your heart and just think with your heart and take that giant pause. It's good guidance.
Yeah, yeah. And you say true success really is reflected in the smiles that brighten our faces or the peace that settles in our hearts.
I think so. I think if you look around, if you look at yourself and you have a smile on your face and you look around and other people are smiling, what a great day it is. And that goes to back to that, we're not entitled to time. Our moments really matter. And whatever you're doing that isn't joyful is detracting from your life in ways that could be more joyful and happy and intentional and authentic and all those higher types of vibrational thinking, for sure.
But now people are going to hear that and say, oh, come on, we all have to do stuff that's not joyful. Like we don't really want to do the laundry or take out the trash or
In the
so
garage
what do you mean
this
by
weekend.
that?
Right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
what do you mean by that?
Um, well, to be pragmatic, I get you where you're coming from. There's all sorts of things that hinder our success, and you can't go around going, I'm going to think with my heart all the time. You can. It's practice, it's gratitude, it's abundance, and so forth. It is a way of thinking and living and being. But we do have things that come in our way. And so what I like to do when we have things that are in our way of our happiness, our joy, our success, changing, whatever it is, I like to teach people the gratitude flip. And that is where you look at things and instead of saying, oh, I have to do this, you go, hey, I get to do this. And I think it really changes the perspective of your life through a more abundant thinking. And I think that's really what I'm about is don't think of what you don't have. Think of your assets, what you do have, what you can work with, and what you dream of doing. And I'm really huge into not just being out here by ourselves, like here we go, I'm by myself and I dream of doing this. We're a huge collaboration. So I'm huge into expressing your goals out loud, your goals and dreams and so forth, and having the world show up for you, finding mentors, finding people to collaborate with and others, because, we seldom succeed on our own.
Now, so if you have something you want to do in a practical sense, maybe you want to start a business, or like for you, you wanted to leave, just quit your day job and then run out there and start something. What's step one so we don't get too overwhelmed?
Yeah. Step one is probably to, I'm just going to throw this out there. A lot of us get blocked by money. I want to just make sure that I'm not saying, quit your day job and just go for it. And, I was husband funded for a little while there when I quit my job, just full fair disclosure. So, step one is to make sure that you are going to be okay with what you're doing. I'm not suggesting that we just go out and quit what we're doing and so forth and
Yeah.
struggle. So I think step one is to think about what it is that you're doing, that you want to do, and do little baby steps. You can habit stack, you can success stack, you can do little things that help you toward your goal. I love when I was very first starting Best Ever You, I was like, I'm going to do 5 things a day that propel me in the direction that I want to go in. You can do just one thing a day. And if it's not practical and feasible for you to just, go up and quit your job, go home at night or the day or whenever you work and do 1 or 2 things that propel you in that direction. Because it is very hard to take, especially for crafty people, like if you want to have an art business or a cookie business or a book business or, things like that that are more creative, it can be tough to earn the money that goes with that.
Yeah.
For
Yeah. And you
sure.
have a financial background. So let's talk about money, because that is a big thing for a lot of people. And they are afraid of lack, or afraid that something is going to, things are going to come crashing down, or they want security, or even at their 9 to 5, they feel like they don't have it. I know you talk about getting to our heart, getting to our core. So how do we flip the lack?
We flip the lack with belief, I believe, believing in ourselves. I think a lot of people stop right there and they don't believe that they can do it. And so the whole first section of the book is visualizing your success
Mm.
and thinking about how you're going to visualize, how you're going to believe in yourself, how you're going to do the things that propel you in the direction that you want to go in. And so I think believing in yourself is a huge piece of the puzzle here, because we stop and go, I don't know if I can do that or not. I don't know. So I always say, if you see it, be it, do it. And if you can see it for yourself, other people can see it too. It's when we can't see things for ourselves that other people can't see it either.
Okay.
So
So,
you see
right.
it, be it, do it is a really big part of this.
And visualization is part of the success guidebook. So how do we visualize the right way? We know athletes do this.
Yes, we do. There's lots of ways to visualize the right way. Last night I was on a show and we were talking about vision boards. Some people love them, some people don't love them. There are all sorts of ways, from affirmations to vision boards to, I've worked with companies and we've painted murals on the wall that says, we're going in this direction, and everybody sees it. And they see it every day, they sign off on it and so forth, especially teams where, like, you want to go, let's say, to the College World Series or something like that. When the whole team can see the goal, that's really important. So seeing your goals, seeing it for yourself, however you do that, if you write it, if you journal, if you need a visual, if you need to hear it, for example, like I work with people and we'll do vision statements, and it's a tape that you can listen to, and you listen to it once or twice a day for like 30 to 60 days so that it starts to implement into the conscious and subconscious mind. So all sorts of ways.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot on this show about affirmations. So something like that, if your vision, I am a successful entrepreneur, let's say, or I am a successful
Yes.
baker. You would actually maybe just want to record that. You could do it on your phone and listen to it over and over, journal it, just begin the reprogramming.
Yeah, I have a newsletter I put out. It's a 444 newsletter. There's 4 things for yourself, 4 things for humanity, 4 things for other people, 4 journal prompts, 4 affirmations, all those
Yeah.
kinds of things in there. And affirmations are a huge part of, I think, everybody's world. But the thing about affirmations is they can go on your mirror, they can go in your car, they can go where you work, they can go in your purse, they can, whatever it is, whatever practice you start to develop for yourself, so that you start to believe what it is, like see it, be it, do it. So you start to believe what it is that you're trying to do, because it can be really hard to picture yourself going from here to there without that guidance. And
Yeah.
so the book actually has narrative from me, 2 stories, and then actual exercises at the end of each chapter. So you can really put in motion what you're trying to do.
Okay. So that, because just even having a book, a guidebook of, I promise myself I'm going to do 10 pages a day, or I'm going to do this, is going to be helpful, because we get so excited and we're so motivated, but sometimes the motivation to reach the success goes away. So
Don't you think? That's a big part of it, right?
Yeah.
You get all revved up to do something, you buy I'll just think about weight loss with me, for example. You get all revved up to lose 20 pounds, you get the clothes, you get the gear, you get this and that. The first 2 weeks are great, and then you're like, well, I need a pizza. So it's all, I get it completely. I'm a real life mom, coworker, friend, daughter, all of it. I completely understand how, the life aspect of this. So the book is here to guide you through those moments. And I think what people keep saying too about this and the Change Guidebook are that you can pick them up at any part of the book
Mm.
and go back, and it gets you back on track. So it's a book that helps you stay on track. But yeah, it can be really difficult without that affirmational type thinking and the vision right in you, and the self-discipline, the consistency, and
Mm.
all the things that it takes You
Yeah.
got to work for it.
Because
You can't just sit here
motivation
and wish
is
for it.
not, yeah, motivation's not reliable. That's when we need the discipline. They'll say, consistency breeds intensity every time. So you've sort of have that
Oh,
system for us.
yeah. I help people match their actions, their goals, their beliefs, and their values to their intention all
Mm-hmm.
day long.
Okay.
You got an intention to do something, and I'm going to help you do it.
Actually do it, right. So just talk about, because
Yeah.
you mentioned your first book, the Success Guidebook is the new book, but you actually had a book that was a bestseller before that, that sometimes these could be a companion.
They are very much so. The Success Guidebook is the second in the series. The Change Guidebook is how to align your heart, truths, and energy to find success in all areas of your life. And I'm really proud of that book as well. It's won 5 major book awards and
Mm,
continues to sell and find readers. And that's what you want as an author is, people to pick up your book and go, I really loved your book. Even if it's just like one person
right,
here and
for
there,
sure.
it doesn't need to be millions. I mean, it'd be nice, but just the people that you affect by writing and sharing. I think that's really important for us all to remember, to share your stories with people.
I have teenagers, and so I often hear them saying about what they're going to do to be successful, right? And we're so, it's not that I don't want them to do well in school, because I do, but everything is about, like, let's get good grades, to then go to a good college, to then get a good job, to make money. And all those things can be markers of success, but you would argue all those things don't always amount to true success, because it may not bring us happiness.
Yeah, that can be overwhelming actually. As a mother of 4 boys who are 20, 22, 24, I'm sorry, 22, 24, 26, and 28. I got their ages right. That can be a recipe for unhappiness actually, because we're doing too much. We're doing what other people think we should do
Mm,
rather than what we really want to do.
mm.
And really tricky age, especially. And one of the things I do is I write my books so that anybody can pick them up, and I'm finding more and more and more kids that age, teenagers, college age kids are picking up the books and reading them, especially the COVID kids.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of that COVID group um, pick up the book and so forth. But our oldest son, hi Connor, he did not go to college. He went to leadership school and he's got a great job in Augusta, Maine. And so, you've got to really follow what's right for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really follow what's right for you.
So I'll put up the book on the screen one more time just so people can see it, because maybe you're trying to think of what's a good graduation gift. And of course, we're thinking as women or men about how do we do this. But the Success Guidebook, as you just said, could be for your teenagers or your college kids as well, how to visualize, actualize, and amplify you. So we talked about visualization and just seeing yourself. What does actualization mean? How do we do that?
So that's the be it part. And that's where I love the word focus. Focus is kind of my little buzzword that I use. And so you talked about consistency and discipline. We were talking about that earlier. This is where focus comes into play. And there's 3 chapters in this section as well. And we really talk about, putting the gas pedal on what you really want to do and
Mm,
focusing your energy and trial, error, discovery, failures, successes, all these things come into play.
mm-hmm.
But really what comes into play is consistency, discipline, focus, and energy. Like you're going to go kind of where you place your energy. So it's kind of the make it happen part
Yeah.
of it all.
But there are days, and I'm sure you've experienced this, where, we just don't have the energy, or we're tired, or you're burnt out. Women are burning out, a lot of overwhelm, and they're wanting to get across that bridge to joy, but they have burnout, and they're like, how do I get to this, overcross the success bridge? So how do you deal with that?
I think burnout's very real. I've experienced it several times through owning Best Ever You. I admit it. I think it's really important to stop, pause, and feel enough. This whole thing, it's all about being enough and confidently enough. And it's okay one day if the dishes aren't done or the floor's not swept or you called in for a mental health day or a sick day or whatever it is. It's okay to do those things. So huge into self-care. And making sure that along your whatever trajectory you've got going on in whatever direction it is, that you stop, pause, and really put your hands right here again and give yourself that enoughness and those breaks that you need. And implementing that self-care is really important above all,
Yeah.
because you don't want to, let's say, I have examples in the book of a couple clients, they've got millions of dollars in the bank. They came to me for coaching because their health was suffering.
Mm.
So we don't want to sacrifice various areas of our lives just for the sake of success. So I talk a lot about comprehensive success and talk about different areas of your life, from health to business to relationships and so forth, and making sure, because we talked a lot about career, but what about all the other things
Right.
that go with us to make us well-rounded people? And so
You're making
we
me think,
want that
like, in
success.
the commencement address I gave last night, I actually did, there was a line where I said that your life will be much more judged on the quality of your relationships than the amount in your bank account. And I think the older I've gotten, the more I believe that. Of course, though, we all want money because we want freedom, right? You want to be able to make choices in your life, I think, is a big reason for it. So let's talk about redefining success. As people are listening to this, they might already be a lot more successful than they're giving themselves credit for, if they've got a healthy marriage and kids, and they're waking up every morning, and they're in relatively good health. How do we know maybe when we are enough?
I think you just said it. I think that's wonderful. And so you take a look at the different areas of your life and kind of evaluate. I've got exercises on bestoveryou.com that, actually take you. There's even an assessment in the book where you look at each area of your life and kind of rank yourself from like 1 to 10 or whatever, no zeros or anything like that. I've had people do that. I'm like, no, 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 no. We're gonna have a lesson in love for a minute here. So, you know, I think I think it's really important, like you just said, to really look at all areas of your life and think more abundantly and think about what is great and feel that enoughness. I know that some people are like, well, how do I do that exactly?
Yeah,
I,
that's the
I think
how. So,
how do you're saying it, but how do I do that
mm,
exactly? The book shows you how. You can always call me or anything like that. But I think those practices of gratitude are huge. Like, I help my clients root right in gratitude, so that when the tire is flat outside, you're like, well, at least I have a car, and you
mhm.
move from there. That perspective of gratitude, where it's like gratitude on autopilot in your life, is so important.
We have to cultivate it, right? And maybe give us a practical example that we would learn in the book, because naturally our human emotion might not always just go right to gratitude.
I don't think our human emotion goes there at all, actually.
Yeah.
I think you have to kind of reel that back in and go, okay. And that's kind of why I wrote these books, because I was feeling that way. I'm like, wow, I just am not doing what I want to do, and I don't feel good. And they're doing way better than I am.
Mm.
Why am I not, this and that? And I think comparison is a thief of gratitude. I think the second you start comparing yourself to other people, you rob yourself of gratitude instantly. And I also think that you need to stop and implement gratitude. And how you do that is up to you. I when I work with people, I'm like, okay, how are we going to do this? Do you need it audio? Do you need it written down? I personally need a journal and to write that down. And I started writing, okay, 5 things I'm grateful for. Okay,
Mhm.
just start to make a list of things you're grateful for. And you might be kind of laughing at yourself and hoping nobody ever reads it or whatever it is. But I'm a human being who's nearly lost my life to food allergic reactions. I have 4 life-threatening food allergies on board. So I'm
Wow.
allergic to peanuts, tree nuts, fish, and shellfish, and I've had this since I was 25, and I'm 55 now. And so it is really important. I learned this when my dad was sick as well, to root in gratitude. I just root in the gratitude of just breath,
Yeah.
just being alive. I also have really, personally, just so you know, I have really terrible eyesight. I'm negative 915 each eye. So I go, wow, I'm really thankful for glasses and contacts. So it could be something as personal and simple as that. The
Yeah.
things that you kind of take for granted, go back and think, okay, I'm grateful for this,
I
and go
just
from there. And then you can be grateful for your car, your great husband, your this, your that
Yeah, and
kind of thing.
sometimes You know, I'll take Oprah Winfrey, who said that keeping a gratitude journal was the single most transformative thing she ever did in her life. And you would think, Oprah, you got a lot of things to be grateful for. But she said sometimes at the end of the day, it would be hard to come up with something. So she might just put that she saw the squirrel eating a nut. That made her happy. But I, as a busy mom, always on the go, I just want to share this with people. We all have phones. So this is my gratitude journal. I have it in my notes. And I just have it IGF, I'm grateful for. I don't even write it all out. And I put IGF and then a few things. And I have learned from doing this show and from reading other books like yours that, you know, when we purposely turn towards gratitude, like in those times we need it the most, it does shift you.
It sure does. You know, I learned this from my dad. So my dad was a stroke survivor. His name was James F. Hamilton. He was a stroke survivor from 2004 to 2018. And he was much the topic of my first book, Percolate, which is a Hay House book. And he had a stroke and he was in a rehab facility, and they took him down to do a speech therapy session with him. And they told, my mom and I were in the room, and they said, okay, Jim, when we say the word A, it was an alphabet exercise. When we say A, you say a word, B, and so forth. And his first word out of his mouth was aardvark. And then he said benevolence, courage, determination, excellence. F was a swear word that I've changed to faith, goodness, happiness, integrity, joy, kindness, love. M was movies, and on and on and on. And I remember thinking, wow. And that was his kind of putting his foot down, saying, you know, I'm going to not only survive, but I'm going to thrive. And I'm going to see you get married and you do this and you do that. And it was so inspiring in those moments that I took out my journal and drew this terrible teapot. I'm a terrible artist. So I drew this teapot. It had ABCs coming out the top. I'm like, percolate, let your best self filter through. And that's what I wrote. And that became a book. And that taught me in those moments of faith, gratitude, hope, joy, and all those things that you can still have even in your most dismal, dark moments.
It's so important because we need reminders, right? We're all reminders to each other. So I'd like to put the book title up again, just in case you're thinking, gosh, now I need this. Now I want some help. The Success Guidebook, How to Visualize, Actualize, and Amplify You by Elizabeth Hamilton-Guarino. And I know, Elizabeth, you're coming to us from Maine. You're a New Englander as well. We only have a minute left, so I just want you to be able to shout out your website also in case people are interested in maybe coaching with you or any of your other books.
So my website's besteveryou.com, and then I have elizabethguarino.com as well, and I'm in social media everywhere. There's a little blue check mark by all of it. If you don't see that, that's not me.
Yeah, besteveryou.com is where we can go to kind of the mothership to find everything, and then you're also on social as well. And the books I know are available everywhere now.
Yes, they sure are. It's exciting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Elizabeth, thank you for being with us and reminding us that success definitely is more than just the numbers in the bank account, and we deserve more and we can go after more. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Coming from the heart too. Yes, remember to live from our hearts. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it serves you. If you want to follow me on social media at Cara Sundlin, I do like to share this content there. Wishing everyone a great day and be well.